I've tried in the past to put some sort of MLK theme into my content. 3 years ago, I guess it was, on MLK Day, 3 or 4 years ago, the Rams announced they were going back to Los Angeles. So begrudgingly, this St. Louis native had to cover that. But when the Rams first went to Los Angeles from Cleveland, okay, just to put that out there for those of you who don't know, that the Cleveland Rams won an NFL championship and then moved to Los Angeles in 1945. So, but the year, it's before Jackie comes up with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Mm-hmm. The year before in Los Angeles, the Rams found out if they wanted to use the Coliseum, well, then they would have to integrate, because the rules there in Los Angeles were to use that facility, you cannot be a segregated business. Right now, I would say one pressing issue after seeing an article from John Shea, Giants beat writer for a long time, a Chronicle writer, talking about the lack of African-American managers in baseball. And I hadn't realized how many candidates there are stuck in the minors right now. Like Torrey Hunter is managing. Where's Terry Pendleton right now? There's a lot of these candidates that are stuck in the minors. I was under that impression for a while, like, maybe baseball isn't as exciting. It's more easier economically for African Americans to go to a park with a basketball, an empty field with a football. Boom, game on. Don't need all those gloves, don't need the bats, don't need 9 people. You don't need all these things that you might need for baseball. So I thought, maybe it's fiscal. Maybe it's, the fact that it takes, going through low A to high A to reach the bigs, to reach the highest level versus NFL, NBA. You're drafted, you're kind of in there. Yeah. You're in there, exactly. Maybe you're G League at most, but in the NBA, but not the case. So that's things that I thought before. And then when I started working in minor league baseball, independent ball especially, it became obvious to me, no, they're still interested in baseball. They're just trapped in the minors. It happens to players. It happens to coaches and managers. And I hadn't realized it was quite a thing. Here in Vallejo, we've had 2 Latino managers and 3 African-American ones. So it wasn't I was like, okay, that's interesting. It's happening here. You're not seeing it in the big leagues, though. I personally ended up hiring one of them, a guy who maybe doesn't get that look at a higher level. I think of Lamar Jackson a little bit when I think of P.J. Phillips. Mm-hmm. I think of having an accent, what some people think of you about that. I think, they think, his brother hooks him up. He doesn't need this. That's apparently something he's been told before. Oh, you don't need this like other players do. Like, word? Okay. That's kind of weird. So I hadn't realized, like, holy crap, I have actually helped employ several black men in minor league baseball. It kind of trickles down, guys I've selected or screened or just helped bring back and get into it or tell an owner, hire this guy for manager. It's funny, I don't think about it really in that way. And you realize how many people try to brush it off like it's not really there, like it's not a thing, like it's, it's just, if you're the best candidate, you're the best candidate. Exactly. And a lot of times the best candidate can't even get a look because are there black GMs in baseball? No. Are there black owners in baseball? No. Same problem as in the NFL. It happens. You hire from your circle, the people you know, and an owner, some tycoon from the oil industry or whatever thing he made his money off of, doesn't know a lot of black people, who are the ones they know in this industry are stuck in the minor leagues. And it's a Chris Rock joke where he talks about, my neighborhood that I'm in, Alpine Meadows in New Jersey, like my neighbors, Mary J. Blige, one of the greatest singers ever, one of the greatest to ever do it. Said another neighbor of his is Jay-Z, one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time. So you know who my other neighbor is? A freaking dentist. He's not the greatest dentist in the world. He didn't invent teeth. He's just a freaking dentist. And he gives an example like, that's what he can get to that same house him and Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige are at. And he felt like a black man has to fly to something a white man could walk to, was what Chris Rock felt with this. And there seems to be this extra layer, white players, even the Latino players, like can be like Pittsburgh's closer, where turns out he's a damn pedophile, or, can like these guys can get away with more than black players and managers can, it seems. And that's still going on, and people still deny it. I retweeted John's article and said, if you want to see racism alive and well in America, check out the comment section. He saw that, retweets that, then starts giving, as an example, there's one. As an example, another one. As an example, another one. Like people that still think, well, white people just make better coaches. Like that was a real thought in their mind. And her avatar said Bama girl. So saying a lot right there about herself, just on that right there. That thought, we don't maybe think about it in the Bay Area. I think that's a bit of a bubble for us. Mm-hmm. But out in Bama, they think it. They think, they got to this thing about, well, you don't see us complaining about there's more players that are black that are out there, in college basketball, college football, or whatever. Just so we're not going to complain about how there's more white coaches, should we? I'm like, well, black people just seem to be a little faster and just got to run a little better. That's another Chris Rock bit where he says, you don't have to look too hard to see the effects of slavery today. The NFL, for instance, which stands for N-word F-in large, is what he said. and so she says, this commenter is just like, so, we're just genetically better at being the coaches. Black people aren't as smart. And I was like, whoa. Wow. That just came onto you wrote that in public. Like you thought that was something to say. So it still exists. It's still out there. And it's funny how folks don't think about it until you're in it. And you're like, oh, dang, there are a lot of black people in minor league baseball. They're just not getting their crack at the top.